has gone by Simmons. Bryan Levell now carries the field in the home stretch. Levell with a slight advantage now on his inside. Is Dakers of GC Foster College. He sprints away from Dakers. Impressive run from this young man from Edwin Allen.
Join and also Javari Thomas. Bryan Levell trying to upset the apple cart in this one. Bryan Levell, what a find.
Levell though, slow start, but now the big, tall, strong Jamaicans into his running, and he comes through.
Christopher Taylor in second, he's pushing, but Bryan Levell is moving away from the rest of the field. This is a fantastic performance.
Did Jamaica just throw away its best shot at relay gold in Tokyo 2025? That's the question burning across the track and field world tonight. The JAAA finally released the official relay pools for the World Championships, and instead of sparking pride and excitement, the announcement has exploded into controversy. On the women's side, the names looked familiar. TiaClayton, Tina Clayton, Sharika Jackson, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, Janelle Smith, and Jodine Williams. Strong athletes, no doubt. But one absence jumped off the page immediately: Ashanti Moore. She had just clocked a blazing 10.94 seconds, proving she was ready for the world stage. Yet her name was nowhere to be found. If that wasn't enough to raise eyebrows, the men's side delivered an even bigger bombshell. Akeem Blake, Ryan Ford, Kadrian Goldson, Oblique Seville, Kishane Thompson, and Rohan Watson were the official picks. Solid names, reliable runners, but one of Jamaica's fastest men this season, Bryan Levell, was not included. That's right. A 9.82 man, the second fastest Jamaican in 2025, left out of a team built for speed. The decision stunned analysts, enraged fans, and left one massive question hanging over Jamaica's World Championship campaign. How do you leave a man like that off the relay? The uproar isn't just about Levell being left out. It's about the clear inconsistency in how selectors are applying their own rules. Let's look at TiaClayton. She failed to finish the women's 100 nationals because of injury. By the book, that should have been the end of her relay chances. But selectors used discretion. They remembered her 10.82 earlier this season and rightly said, her speed is too valuable to waste. They bent the rules and included her. So why not do the same for Bryan Levell? Yes, he finished 8th at nationals. On paper, not impressive. But only weeks later, he stormed back with 9.82, faster than anyone not named Bolt, Blake, or Powell in Jamaica's history. That's the kind of form selectors dream of. It's exactly why discretion exists, to make sure once-in-a-generation performances don't go to waste. But instead of rewarding Levell's breakthrough, selectors shut him out. Fans see it for what it is, a double standard. If discretion can save one athlete's spot, why can't it save another's? That's why this controversy feels less like a mistake and more like a deliberate choice that makes no sense. When the pools dropped, some tried to defend the decision. The theory? Scheduling. Levell, they said, was left out to avoid overloading him since he's also entered in the 200-meter. On the surface, maybe that sounds reasonable. But when you check the schedule, the excuse crumbles. The men's and women's 200-meter finals are on day 7. The relay heats don't start until day 8. The relay finals close the championships on day 9. That means Levell would have had a full day to recover before stepping on the relay track. No overlap, no conflict, nothing stopping him from doing both. History proves it can be done. Bolt balanced the 100, 200, and relay back-to-back in much tighter schedules, and delivered world records. Other sprinters have doubled up with even less recovery time. So let's be real, the schedule wasn't the problem. Levell could have easily handled it. Which leaves us asking, if it wasn't timing, then what really kept him off this team? This is where the whispers of politics get louder. Some insiders believe it has nothing to do with Levell's speed at all. Instead, they suspect selectors are protecting their favorites or rewarding loyalty. In Jamaica's system, it's not uncommon for certain athletes to get placeholder spots. Names who may not be medal favorites individually, but who can be trusted to run backup legs or simply gain world championship experience. Look at Ryan Ford or Jodine Williams. Solid athletes, reliable, known to selectors. They aren't putting up times like Levell or Moore, but they keep showing up, running the smaller meets, proving they're dependable. And sometimes that loyalty gets rewarded. But here's the issue. Placeholders don't win gold. Raw speed does. And leaving out a 9.82 sprinter in favor of dependability is a gamble that feels reckless when nations like the US and Canada are bringing stacked, hungry squads. If this was about loyalty, Jamaica may have just sacrificed its medal chances on the altar of politics. And fans aren't letting it slide quietly. Another defense has been floated: experience. Relay racing, after all, is not just about who's fastest. It's about baton chemistry, trust, and clean exchanges. One bad pass and even the fastest team on Earth ends up disqualified. We've seen it happen to Jamaica before. That's why selectors might prefer guys like Watson or Seville, who already proved they can execute smooth handoffs under pressure. Remember the London Diamond League? Watson to Seville was flawless, the kind of baton pass coaches dream about. Levell? He hasn't had many chances on the senior relay stage. Selectors might see that as a risk. But here's the counter. If you never give him the opportunity, when does he gain that experience? He's young, yes, but his speed is rare. And rare speed should never sit on the sidelines. You can teach exchanges, you can train chemistry, but you can't manufacture 9.82. That's why the experience excuse feels weak. It's less about protecting the relay and more about avoiding the risk of trying something new. And that kind of fear could cost Jamaica dearly. What makes the story sting even more is how blatant the double standards are. Take TiaClayton and Bryan Levell side by side. Both missed out at nationals. Tia due to injury, Levell by placement. Both proved earlier in the season they had world-class speed. Both should have been discretionary inclusions, yet Tia was rewarded and Levell was ignored. Fans immediately spotted the contradiction. They called it favoritism. They called it hypocrisy. And the truth is, they're right. If the rule can be bent for one, why not for the other? Especially when the man in question has produced one of the fastest Jamaican times ever. This isn't just about one athlete anymore. It's about the credibility of Jamaica's entire selection process. Are selectors really choosing the best team? Or are they protecting certain names while sidelining others? Either way, the optics are bad. Very bad. And unless the situation is fixed, this controversy could overshadow Jamaica's entire championship run. Fans didn't take the news quietly. The backlash was instant. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, every platform lit up with outrage. Hashtags calling for Levell's inclusion started trending within hours. Talk shows in Kingston, London, and even New York devoted full segments to dissecting the decision. Former athletes chimed in, many of them baffled. The consensus was clear: this move doesn't make sense. Worse, it could backfire. If Jamaica goes into Tokyo without Levell, they risk running a slower squad than they're capable of fielding. And that could be the difference between standing on the podium and watching from the sidelines. Inside the camp, whispers are already starting. Athletes notice unfairness. They talk about it. They feel it. And in a relay, where unity and trust are everything, that tension can be deadly. Instead of entering the championships confident and united, Jamaica now faces questions, doubts, and a media storm. All because one of their fastest men is sitting at home. So what happens now? Unless selectors reverse their call, Bryan Levell will be watching the 4x100 meter from the sidelines. And if Jamaica dominates, selectors will claim they were right all along. But if they stumble, if a baton drops, if a medal slips away, if another nation storms past, then this omission will haunt them forever. Every headline will ask the same thing. Why wasn't Bryan Levell there? For Levell, it's a cruel lesson in how politics can outweigh performance. For Jamaica, it's a gamble that may define their entire championship. Because this isn't just about one man, it's about what philosophy the nation embraces. Do you play it safe, sticking to experience and loyalty? Or do you take the risk, trusting raw, world-class speed? Tokyo will answer that question. Until then, the debate rages on. And for fans, one thing is already clear. Leaving Bryan Levell out was a decision that may come back to haunt Jamaica when it matters most.